Last time I was in Egypt, I spent a bit of time searching for a yellow pyramid obelisk, and I believe I found the remains of it. This is my pyramid obelisk, and the base will be underneath all this sand. It is wonderful. So that is a clip from an episode I did about 2.5 years ago, when I went out into the desert around Giza to search for the remains of a pyramid obelisk that I believed existed. But at that time, I did not locate where the blocks went, but this time I found a few of them. When I was in Cairo itself, I looked for places there that might have examples of the yellow blocks. But I was unsuccessful on my first trip. But this time I went to an area which is the area of the Mamelukes, and there, mixed in amongst all the other normal kind of coloured blocks that are creamy coloured or grey or even slightly yellow, are these bright yellow blocks. These are the blocks of my yellow pyramid obelisk. Now I'm going to jump back to another clip from my original episode on finding the pyramid obelisk, and then we'll look at a few more sites I've found in Cairo. For those of you who've been following my channel, you'll know that I've been searching for a location where there would have been black basalt stone and yellow crystalline stone. From my dream regressions, I remember seeing very early, before the other pyramids were there, a yellow and black pyramid obelisk, and it was quite a distance away from the Sphinx, which was already there at the time. And so I tried to triangulate where I thought, basically from where the Sphinx was, where it might have been located. And then, after getting a rough idea of where it could be, hired a couple of quad bikes, and we headed off into the desert. It's beyond the restricted zone, so it's not within the area that's cordoned off. So it's outside of that area, because it was quite a long way away from the Sphinx. And we went in search of it. Hi! So this is my team going off in search of the yellow pyramid obelisk. Go to this mound here and have a good look. Yeah. The approach was to go to the highest parts, the dunes that were quite high, and from there have a look round to see if there was anything that matched the colour, so the black colour and the yellow colour. So looking for what remained of black basalt, what remained of yellow crystalline stone, and hopefully I was looking for also a shaft in the same area. So from this vantage point, we can see into the restricted area. The fence runs the full length around the area that they like to keep control of. But fortunately, we were searching outside of that area. Each time we got to a high point, we would stop and have a good look around to see what we could see, if we could see anything that was yellowish or black, and just kept looking, and we kept repeating this process while the sun was setting next to the pyramids, and it was extremely beautiful and very exciting along with it. So we were doing this for quite a while, going to a high point, looking round, finding the next high point, while I was trying to triangulate which direction we were going in to get a rough idea of where it should be. Then in the distance I saw something black, so we headed over there. Found it. So first of all, we've got the black, so they must have pulled off the black coating and done some cutting and stuff here. But and I found a couple of the yellow crystals, and but this is where I think that they pulled off the actual lower coating of the pyramid obelisk. I call it a pyramid because it was when the obelisk fell, it really was all that was left was the pyramid, but it was a big base, so it wasn't a real pyramid, but it. I found it!
Found it! Excuse me.
I found it!
Yes?
Yes.
Hold on.
So it's not a great example because if you scratch it, you can see the crystal underneath. But it's a very yellow crystal. And there, over there, must be where that they took off the lower part, which was basalt, and they just stripped the lower part. And here you'll see little bits of the yellow crystal everywhere. And sadly, this is the point at which I got so excited, I accidentally turned my phone upside down. But returning to the subject of the blocks in Cairo, there's a lot of yellowish stonework everywhere, but there are some that are really interesting. So let's have a closer look at some of the blocks that I found that I think were once part of the yellow pyramid obelisk. Here is inside a mosque, and you can see on the walls that there are a few areas where the stonework is actually very yellow, and it's mixed in with some of the more ordinary blocks. But those yellow ones, they really stand out. One of the interesting things is how these yellow blocks are so interspersed around all these other relatively boring looking blocks. And more examples of the yellow blocks, and you can see just how bright a yellow they are. Then we get to a series that were in the floor, or were the areas where for the doors to close on. And some of them were, it's a floor, so it's going to be a bit dirty. So it was kind of hard to spot some of the yellow ones, but they were most certainly there. And there was even some with the odd bit of Egyptian hieroglyphics on. If you did enjoy the episode and you've managed to make it all the way through to the end, I do hope that you have actually subscribed to my channel, because there's still more wonderful and interesting things to come. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time.